Hey guys, Myra here. I want to share a story with you guys that happened about 2.5 years ago. I want you to take this story as an inspiration that it's okay to start over, literally. Don't lose your faith in God. Always trust God. Trust God's process. Trust everything that everything that happens is for your own good. And by me sharing the story, I don't condone bullying. I don't want to stop and to put a stop in anybody's career. I don't want to take food from people's table. We know TikTok, but I'm sharing my story to more so spread hope and have faith in God. And unfortunately, they are part of my story. So that's why I'm going to speak about it, but I will not mention any names. So with that being said, this story is going to be multiple series. So if you stay and watch and listen, that'd be great. And if you don't, that's great too. It probably doesn't resonate, so I can completely understand. But and I'm gonna try to say my story without crying. Okay, so if I do cry, I do apologize. But it's just been tough. It's been tough, but I've put a great smile in my face and just moved on. I moved on because that's the only choice I have. I just can't sit here and dwell on the past. I can't be a victim. I just have to move forward and look at things like, glass half full. Okay. So about 2.5 years ago, I pretty much lost everything. I did have a full-blown salon, a 2,500 square feet salon. I did have a home, a 2,500 square feet home. I had both my business and my home in the same floor. Because of the apartments or lofts that I lived at, you can do business and you can live there. So you can have a business and live there, or you can have both. So you can have the business and obviously live there. So I had both. I lived there and my job was there. So I was like literally 2 minutes away, a minute, probably less than a minute away from my job, walking distance, which was amazing. I had my full-blown walk-in closet, all types of designer purses, designer shoes. A shit ton of perfume, a shit ton of makeup, a fully furnished home, 2 beds, an 85-inch TV that I had just gotten that was bought for me. It was a gift, and my furniture was a gift as well. It was just bought for me. My salon that I worked really, 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 really hard to build from the bottom up. She was called the Queendom Salon. She was beautiful from the inside. Fully furnished as well. 2 offices, a break room, a waiting area, a walking area, 2 places of styling stations, a bleaching station. I had a kitchen as well. It was huge. It was big. It was beautiful and big, and the way I envisioned it is exactly the way it came out to be. But like I said, things happened. I can just say that my door was kicked down. You can get the idea what happened there. I thought they were just gonna get my baby daddy, but unfortunately, I got tied up in this indictment as well. Very, very unfortunate. So for a month, I was on vacation for a whole month, and within that month, a lot of things happened outside. So a lot of things were happening out here that I was very unaware of, because the person that I was talking to while I was in there, there was a handful of people I communicated with my stepdaughters because they had my son, with my right hand girl because she knew about my business, she knew my home, she knew the entry to my home, she knew everything. I'm telling you, this girl was my best friend. I consider her my family. I considered her everything. We were like, she was my everything. She was my person, And then I would talk to my friend for laughter, and then I would talk to my niece, and then to my baby daddy's aunt because she knew about my lawyer. So those were the 5 people that I only communicated inside. Only one of them is whom I always talked about my business, my home, and how everything is. Obviously, my stepdaughter is just how my son is. Is he doing okay? I just want to listen to him. I would call him every morning and every night. At this time, he didn't talk, but I'll be like, poke him so I can hear him. It was really hard. And then my niece and my friend for laughter, and obviously my baby daddy's aunt, just to have an update of everything. As I talked to my right hand girl, I was always very apologetic. I was like, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. Like, I'm sorry that this is happening. You, out of anybody, should know that I have nothing to do with this. I have nothing to do. I've dedicated my whole life to be the best hairstylist. My whole career as a hairstylist, the only goal that I ever had was to win the one-shot hair award from behind the chair. Like, I've dedicated my whole life to open up this salon so I can have a team, so my team can have a home. I just wanted to grow a team. She knew that. She knew that very well. And I was always informed that she was handling everything. She was handling everything. She was handling the salon, that everything's good, that she was going to find us a new space. Because when I get out of there, I didn't know what time or when, but when I get out of there, my salon was in good hands. That we would have a new home to be at, because obviously we couldn't be where we were at. And just keeping me updated. I was like, well, how's everything? Like what's happening with everything? How the girls, like, tell them I'm sorry. I can't wait till I get out so we can continue to work together. I would be like, hey, just make sure y'all run a special. Make sure you guys keep working. If y'all need the help, let me know. Because there's people out there that are willing to help. I was like, I'm sure there's people out there willing to help. But she reassured me that there was nobody wanted to help. Nobody was out there to help us, that she was basically doing it all on her own. And that's when I felt more like I felt horrible being in there. I was just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe there's nobody wanting to help her. Like, it just didn't make no sense to me. And I was just like, okay, well then, do whatever you need to do, just sell, whatever the salon stuff is, so we can minimize, obviously, because we're moving to a smaller space. I never really asked about my home. I never asked what's going on in my home. I was just really more worried about my business, because I think my house, I just like, nah, she got it, like, pretty sure we're gonna pack up everything and put it in a storage or something. I just wasn't expecting what I was expecting when I got out. So while I'm in there, like I said, these are the only 5 people I spoke to. And every single one of them, I always said, I'm coming home. I repeatedly, and I said it over and over again. Actually, my first mistake was I said, I'm going home next week. Next week came, then I kept saying it again, I'm going home next week. Until finally I realized my mistake, and I remember telling her, I was just like, I'm so dumb. I was like, I keep saying I'm going home next week, and I just keep pushing it back. I was like, I need to rephrase it, and I need to say that I'm going home this week. And so that's basically what I did. I just meditated a lot. I prayed a lot. And within that time, I always asked my angels for signs from them. And like I said, from having such a big space of a home, you're only given a whole drawer. And that's where everything has to fit. Your food, your clothes, your toiletries, and any little activities that you may want, which are books, notebook, anything that you may need. Okay? I remember walking in to this, it's Fannin County, it's in Bonham. And I remember walking in, and obviously I'm very new. They can see it in my face that I'm very new. I'm very like, what did I just, obviously it's scary because you see all these movies and all this like, like they're ready to attack you, and I was just kind of like, hi, Myra, nice to meet y'all. And I remember the first day they made arroz con pollo, rice and chicken, and cookies and cream cake or cheesecake. How did they do that? I don't know. From a microwave, I have no idea. And I was just like, at all, I was just like, wow, y'all really cooking up in here. But they did it. I give them props, really, But as I'm in there, you do get a tablet. I guess they upgraded, you get a tablet, and this tablet you can play games, you can watch movies. You need like a headset to be there, and one of the girls there gave me a headset. That was very, very sweet of her. They were very sweet to me. Some of the girls gave me some of their snacks, like their leftover snacks. They would share their food with me. You do get fed there like in the morning, lunch and dinner. Obviously, it's not the best meal, but it is something, and I was very grateful every single day that at least I get to eat something. While I'm there, I did get some money on my commissary. My girl, she put in $100 in there for me, and I was able to buy me some clothing, some socks because it was really cold in there, a couple of snacks, some soup, sopa de vaso, a notepad and a pen so I can write. Boy, did I need to write. Like, I had to write. I had so much going on in my head. Like, I'm like, what on the earth is going on? I had so much going on in there, and I just had to write and write and write and write. And that's what I did. Well, I went to court, and I had to come back because I was appointed to a lawyer. And then the second time I went, we couldn't resolve anything because I was switching lawyers, because then this time I was gotten a lawyer, and then he came up to me and he was like, Myra, I was like, you need to stay here. He was like, I know that's something that you don't want to do, but looking at what they had, we have to wait. Like, I have to look this over, because they had me under a queen pin. Like, I just call myself Queen Myra because I love the queen part. I love that I get to lead people. Like, that's my goal in life. I want to be treated as a queen, not because I consider myself as a drug lord. Like, what? So with that being said, I was just like, I kind of looked at my lawyer like, they really have me under that? Like, they had a couple oil stuff from my salon, because I used to smoke, and I I actually stopped when I had my son. Completely stopped. Like, I don't even, till this day, I don't even smoke. So I was like, well, that's personal use, but okay, and they had some letter in there, and immediately as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, that's fake. I was like, because one, that's not my writing. Second, I do journal a lot, but I don't ever put the date and time. Okay, let's just start off there. I don't ever put up the date and time. And then the way it titled, and it was like detailed, like this and this and that, like, at the end of the day, that letter contradicted itself, because the time that the letter was written, I was in Austin at Behind the Chair with my son for the award show and a hair convention. Well, aside of that, I was just like, okay, that's fine. I'm already here. Do what you need to do. Okay. So he said, okay. So I had to go back. Or maybe I did. No, I did say 4 because I saw the first one, and then the second time, yeah. And then while I go back, I'm already like in there for 2 weeks or so. I go back, and then I believe on Wednesdays or Thursdays or 2 days out of the week, they have like a roundup. So basically they get all these people and they like ship them off. Okay. So I so happen to be in one of these people. They say my name, Mendez. And I'm just like, yes. And they're like, you need to pack up your stuff. And this is like early in the morning. Okay. No. I think it was like midnight. I'm totally lying. It was in midnight. They told me to pack up my stuff, and I was like, well, ma'am, I was like, I have court coming up. I have court next week. She just basically went, I don't care. You need to pack up your stuff, and you need to go. I said, all right, well, I got what I got. You know what I mean? The only thing I could take, you couldn't take any of your commissary. You can't take none of your food that you just bought. You can't take any of that, and you can't take any of your soap that you just got, anything. You can't take anything but your clothes that you can physically put on. So I had just gotten like a shorts and a shirt and my socks. So I was like, okay, let me wear that. So I get my stuff, and I'm being shipped off to Oklahoma. I'm like, what on God's name am I going to be doing over there? Well, I get shipped off over there. We're all in this room, all of us. Like, there's a bunch of people being shipped off. A bunch of girls and a bunch of guys, and we're all crammed up in this one room. They give us some beds, and we're all just laying there until 5 o'clock in the morning to be taken away. And as we are, we get lined up, we get called, and we get lined up. We get handcuffs from our arms and our legs. And I remember walking out, and I just see this big ass school bus with guards, like the fence guards. I don't know how you say it, but I was just like, well, this is new. This is something I have never ever seen in real life or personally been in. Like, you only see this in movies, for God's sakes. Well, anyways, follow me for part 3. Welcome to part 3. We're on our way to Oklahoma. So obviously, when we got taken away, like at 12 o'clock in the morning, okay, so they cut off your phone lines at 10 or 11. I can't quite remember. It was like 2.5 years ago. At 10 or 11, they cut off, because we have our tablets, because you can call from your tablet, which was something cool. They cut it off, and then they pick you up at 12. So there was no way that I could tell anybody, hey, I'm getting shipped off to Oklahoma, okay? So we're in this bus, and we're handcuffed from our ankles and our wrist. And in the front, I believe the guys go in first. It's kind of like, the guys go in first, and then the girls. Yeah, the guys had to go in first because they go sit in the back, and then there's a door to lock them back there, and then the girls in the front. And I remember the girl that was sitting next to me, because she happened to be in the same pod that I was in. That's what they call them, pods. And there's no windows. Now that I think about it, there's literally no. I'm sorry. I'm gonna jump back again. There's no windows. You're literally sharing this space with 10 different girls. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 different girls. You go to the bathroom in front of them. You shower in front of them. If you have to do number 2, you do that in front of them. You couldn't really sleep because everybody is so loud. The guys next door, they were so loud. The TV, we all had to kind of alternate who wanted to watch what. The older ladies wanted to watch novelas, and then the other girls wanted to watch more of a show. And then the TV would turn off at a certain time. You had to brush your teeth in front of them, obviously, shower in front of them, change in front of them. Like I said, everything in front of you had absolutely no privacy. So now that you have that in mind, when I got shipped to Oklahoma, it was like a 3-hour drive or 4-hour drive, somewhere far up there. I remember they were telling me that they had like Echo, Charlie, and something else. And they're like, don't go to Echo. There's nothing but young girls over there. Go to Charlie because there's older ladies there. And I was like, well, I choose that one because I want more of a peace and quiet, okay? So I remember I was like, okay. They're like, where do you want to go? They would ask me. And I was like, okay, I want to go to Charlie. And they're like, okay, do you have a bunk buddy? And I was like, yeah, I have this lady that wants to, room with me. And so we would room together. But then she asked to switch to Echo because she knew somebody over there. So I had basically a room for myself. Now, over there, it was like a vecindad. It was like this big old building. And it was divided into 4 or 3. But I remember one of them was closed. This one was closed. And so it was the one I was in and the one over here. So it was like a big ass pod with a bunch of rooms. And in each room was 2 beds, a top and a bottom. And it was 2 stories. So I walked in and I picked, they picked for me the room. All along time, I'm just asking God and my angels, please send me signs that you're here with me. Please send me signs. I know I'm at a very, very, very low vibration. I felt it every single day. Every time I got up, I felt dizzy. Every time I laid down, I felt dizzy. Every time I turned, I felt dizzy. Like I was so lightheaded because it was such a low vibration for me. Well, they give you a big ass bag with all your stuff in it. So you have a brand new set of clothes, like their clothes. It was yellow and brown. They gave you underwear, they gave you socks, they gave you toilet paper, they gave you your toothbrush, they gave you your shirts and your pants. And that's pretty much it in that bag. Oh, and your mat and your sheet, so you can cover yourself in your blanket. So all of that was in that big ass bag that we had to carry ourselves to our building, basically. I'm staring off the distance because I'm remembering how everything went. And I remember going inside, and it was just big. It was very intimidating because there was more girls in there and it was a bigger space. And I remember walking in, and the first thing one of the girls looked at was at my nails. In case y'all know, I get my nails done every 2 weeks. Like, that is my biggest thing that I've always done. And I had a fresh set of nails because I had just celebrated my son's first birthday. And they were like, oh my God, your nails. I was like, I'm brand new. So that's why I have a fresh set of nails. You also get a tablet there, but that one was like a first come, first serve. So if you wake up early in the morning enough, you can get a tablet and you can FaceTime there. But your other party has to download all these apps in order for you to really like FaceTime with them. So I grabbed my stuff and I walked to my room. And I was hoping that they would give me 333 or 222 or 444 or 111 number, because to me that's my indication that my angels are with me and I'm in the right path. Like, this is the path I'm supposed to be taking. And as soon as I walked into my room, and I remember I really liked this room because if I were to lay down and I closed the door, because you have to close your door through when you go to sleep, and there's a lockdown time. I don't know, it's a lockdown time where they check or do a checkup. I don't know, but you have to be in your room and lock your door. And I remember sitting there, and I was like, I can see the TV from there. And obviously you can't hear it because there's so much noise. So they gave you this little radio with the headset, and you put in the channel, and whatever channel it had there, that's what you would listen on the TV. And so I was still able to listen to what was happening as I was in lockdown. But as I walked in and I fixed my bed, I put my mat, I put my covers, I took out my clothes, and I was just ready to lay down because I was exhausted. I was like, you couldn't sleep. Like you just couldn't sleep there at all. Like nobody would respect, obviously, because you have the younger people, then you have the older people, and then you have the in between, and you have the girls that I don't care, I'm gonna be loud. And when I got into that room and I was finally able to lay down, in big ass letters, I read feathers. And that, to me, I just started to cry. And I said, thank you for still showing me that you're here with me, and you're showing me that you have not left my side. Luckily, I had already saved my numbers because I had paper and I had pen in the last jail place, and I was able to keep that paper. And I was able to call my people, the 5 people. I called my stepdaughter first, and I was just like, hey, I'm in Oklahoma. It's just like, I see that, I can see the number, and obviously I wanted to talk to my baby. I wanted to just hear him. And then I would call my other girls like, hey, I'm here. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going with it. And then I called my niece, and my niece was with my nanny, and my nanny, she was just like, I was being positive, and I was just telling her, I was like, yeah, look, I'm still traveling. Even though I'm locked up, I'm like, I'm still traveling. And she's like, how do you find humor in everything? Like, how do you find such, like, you can just find, like, laughter, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I can't be here too sad about things, I was like, I know what I want, and I want to go home. And that's what I just kept repeating myself. I want to go home, and I'm going home. I'm about to run out of time. Follow me for part 4. So I'm talking to my nanny, and she was like, Mayra, te quiero decir muchas cosas, pero no sé si es el tiempo para decirte. And basically she was telling me, she's like, I have a lot of things to tell you, but I don't know if this is the right time to tell you. I was just like, let's not. I was like, let's not. I don't think I want to hear anything like that. I was like, just wait till I get home. Okay? And again, I'm running on hope and faith, you guys, because I had no idea if I was going to be released or not. Okay? And I was just like, no. I was like, you tell me when I get out. And I would talk to this, at this time, it's already been like, 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, right? And I can feel homegirl, my best friend, my good friend, my right-hand girl, kind of like distancing off, like our us talking got less, and like she stopped answering my calls. Like when I would call, like she wouldn't answer, and it would freak me out because I was like, oh my god, like, is she like completely mad at me? Is she upset with me? Like, did I do something wrong to her? Like, what's going on? I was worried. And then I would talk to my baby daddy's aunt, and I was like, what's going on? Like, oh, he's working on everything over here. I can't believe they shipped you off over there when you have court next week. And I was just like, I know. So I lasted there almost a week. Honestly, I think it was the best thing they could have done, because I was able to sleep there. I had my own room. I was able to be in the bottom bed, because in the last one I was in the top bed. And let me tell y'all, the beds, they're like super tiny. They're like twin size bed. And if you were to roll over or make a wrong move, bro, you would be on the floor. I would be on the floor. So now, aside from everybody being so loud and not be able to sleep, then I had to watch out the way I moved, okay? Because any wrong move, you on the floor, you off that bed. And so I had a wall, and so I was able to lean against the wall over there, and so it was better. The food was better. I didn't get no money over there for commissary, because again, I was just like, I don't want to get comfortable because I'm going home. Again, I was setting my intentions that I was going home. I was like, I am not going to buy all this food or buy all this stuff again if I'm going home. That's just what needs to happen. In my mind, I was like, I need to go home. I need to go go back to my son. Like, this is not what the paperwork says. That's not who I am. I am nowhere near that. Like, it's just hard to swallow. It's just, but as I'm there, I remember watching the previews to Thor, Love and Thunder. And I just remember saying, I was like, well, when I get out of here, I'm going to go watch that movie. And when I get out of here, I'm going to go watch that movie. And I just kept repeating it. Their courtroom, their court area had grass. I was like, oh, that's nice, because the other court area, there was no grass. It was just cement, and you barely be able to see the sky. But over here, you were able to see a little bit more. You get to see greenery, and I was just like, oh yes, like finally something to look at, something to feel, some energy to grab onto. And I would meditate. I would meditate. I would envision myself being out. I would just say, I can't wait to be out. I can't wait to be with my baby. I can't wait to be with my friends. I can't wait to be back to my business. So, finally the time came where the people from Bonham Prison, is Bonham? Yeah, it was Bonham. It was Fannin County, but they came to pick me up because I had court. So they had to drive all the way to Oklahoma, pick my little ass up, and then drive me back. So that's what happened. I was the only one in that van, and they took me back. And I told them if they could put me in the same pod, because I already knew the girls there. So I was like, can you please put me back in the same pod? And they're like, yeah, I was trying to be as polite and as nice as I could be, because any wrong move or anything wrong, like, at the end of the day, unfortunately, they have the power. And if they say you can't go here, you can't go there, like, well, that's what's gonna happen. So luckily for me, they put me back in the same pod. So I was happy about that. So before that, the other times that I went to court, they always forgot about me. If you're going to court, they should pick you up around 5 o'clock. And meaning, like, the officer comes get you from your pod, you need to get dressed, and then they put you in the waiting area. Well, they always forgot about me. All those times, they always forgot about me. They came and got me like at 11 o'clock. No, I'm lying. Around 9 o'clock. And they're like, Mendez, you need to get dressed because you have court. I'm like, duh, I know. I was like, I was just waiting on y'all. So I would get dressed and go, and then they would take me to court. In those times, I witnessed women have been released. They would give them their pre-trial, and they would be released. The third time that I went, it was just me and a girl that went, right? And she got released. She got on pre-trial release. And I remember asking her, I was like, hey, can I see your paperwork, please? And she's like, yeah. And so at that time when I asked her for that paper, she got called. I think she had to go do something. And when she left, I grabbed that paper and I sat myself on the other opposite end. And I just sat there and I meditated. And I envisioned my name in that paperwork. And I was just like, okay, so this is how it looks. This is how a pretrial release paper looks. And so I prayed on it. I prayed on it. And so when it was time for me to go to court, this fourth time, they did not forget about me. They picked me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh, well, this is different. Then they put me in a room that was 333. And I was like, well, this is more different. I was like, I haven't been in this room. They always put me in the other room, the 1332. I was like, okay, these are good signs. These are good signs. And then I get to court, and usually they call everybody out first. They call everybody. You're supposed to line up and sit down in front of the judge. And they didn't. They left me there. And I'm not going to complain because I was the only girl, so I was asleep. And I remember he coming in and banging on the rails. And like, Mendez, I'm like, huh? And I was like, y'all late. I was like, y'all late for me. What time is it? And he's like, it's 11 something. I was like, y'all really late for me. And then I go out, and as soon as I walk out, my lawyer walks up to me, and he just tells me, he's like, you're going home today. You're going home today. I just got the paperwork. You're going home today. I just started to cry. And then, as soon as he tells me that, the judge is like, we have a 30-minute recess break. Bah! I was like, wait. Can you release me first? Can you sign these documents? Oh my God. I was like, I hope she doesn't change her mind. So I had to sit there and wait till she came back from lunch. And she came back. You hear my son. She came back, and obviously she signed the paperwork. She read what I'm supposed to be doing was I have to have probation. I have to be checking up on her and stuff like that. So I get released. My stepdaughters come and pick me up, and I'm on my way home. And make sure to follow me for part 5.